if you were to look back at your career, was this something that you had planned for? I mean, where you are today, was this something that you had always planned and charted out?
In a certain sense, yes. Since I graduated, I've always been in the real estate industry. I did chart out in the sense that because it's multifaceted, which areas would interest me, and that's where I planned where my career should have taken me or should take me. Yeah.
So how do you, I mean, real estate is typically supposed to be a very largely male-dominated industry. So how did you find, growing up within the industry? I mean, were there any issues that you had to deal with, or?
I think within the industry itself, certain facets would probably attract the males, like project, management, that would be more male-dominated. For myself, I started with marketing and then, went on to take business roles. So as a lady in the industry, I think there are quite a number of ladies in the industry. The males, I didn't find exceptional challenges. I think in any industry, as long as you're able to be clear on what you need to do and be able to communicate that clearly to your counterparts, the men will respect what you say. I myself have not faced any gender biasness in the industry. Perhaps in Singapore because it's so cosmopolitan. In other parts of Asia, sometimes we do feel that the male may not accept a lady's view readily. Yeah.
Ladies at the board level or at the C level has always been under discussion with even exchanges and kind of trying to frame it as part of rules and stuff like that. So, I mean, how do you think this situation can really be rectified? Finally, women are half the world. So how do you bring that kind of a representation at the senior board level?
I think at the board level, sometimes it's like a boys' club, usually directors are appointed based on who you know and what you know. So for the ladies, perhaps one area that's lacking is networking. Ladies, because of family commitments, may not network as well as the male after office hours. So for a start, at least, there should be a platform in which the ladies can be exposed to the other board members, and that's where other board members can see, where the lady can contribute at the board level, apart from, regulations. So there should be perhaps a body that can encourage women to mingle with the other like-minded business directors. Yeah, I think that would help.
And what are your mantras for being a successful leader?
I think for a leader, one has to listen. It's not, you can't be dogmatic and just, issue instructions. You have to be a willing listener, and you have to be a strong leader as well, not to just, gain popular votes, do something that's popular. So you have to be clear-minded so that your instructions are clear. And your goals, your vision has to be also clear, where you want to be. For myself, I've been very lucky to have good role models from a young executive. So that's how a young person starting out should try to have, so that you can help chart up your career path as well. I think for a leader, what's important is to be empathetic, to understand what your colleagues are going through also, so that you can help them along the way.
What do you feel about the real estate industry as a whole? I mean, there have been a lot of ups and downs, bubbles, where the state of the industry is currently.
I think for someone to survive in the real estate industry, you have to have a long-term view. You can't be short-term because, in anything, if you take a short-term, if you have short-termism, you take shortcuts, and that would come back to haunt you in the long run. So that's firstly, you have to take a long-term view because of the cycles. If you have a long-term view, you are able to ride out the cycles. You have to also be creative because increasingly the competition is very keen. So you have to think out of the box and be innovative so that you can bring new ideas to the real estate space as well as the built environment. I think these are the key things that one has to do. and also to be able to read the market and time the market. The world is changing. The windows are getting shorter, so you must be ready to take advantage of the market when the market turns. So always be ready.
And what would you tell all the young women out there who are looking at emulating your success? What should they do? How do they plan their careers?
I think one must first know your strength and weakness. That's very important. What you're good at and what you're not good at. If you know your strengths, then you have to harness on your strengths. And how do you harness that? By perhaps looking at a role model. How does a role model do it? And having a good mentor, as I said earlier, is very important, because the person can give you. Sometimes people have the ability, but they are just not given the chance. So if you find a good role model, try to follow, and perhaps he will give you a break. So I think the other adjective I would use is tenacity. You must be resilient. If you meet failure, you must be able to stand up and just get on with it, but not dwell and sink back to it. So tenacity is important.
Do you think failure, because that's been a buzzword with all the startups also, that one has to celebrate failure, they say, but is it really possible?
I think it's all in the mind. I mean, it's some people, when they meet failure, they are able to bounce back. They are resilient, they can bounce back. Some people take longer. So failure is part and parcel of life. I mean, everyone goes through ups and downs. It's never rosy all the way. So it's just your mindset and how do you, whether you're resilient and tough enough, to overcome the failure, learn from it, learn from lessons. Everyone makes failures, and it's good. It's a good learning ground, and that builds you better, for the future.